The city streets were Officer Miller's beat, a chaotic symphony of hurried footsteps and distant sirens. He'd seen it all, or so he thought. Every day, he passed the same faces, including the woman who sat huddled near the old bakery. She was just another part of the urban landscape, a silent figure with a cardboard sign. He'd offer a polite nod, maybe $1 if he had one, but he never truly saw her. To him, she was just another unfortunate soul, lost in the shuffle of a city that never sleeps. He'd grown a thick skin over the years, a necessary armor against the daily barrage of hardship. It was easier to keep a professional distance, to not let the sorrow of the streets seep into his own life. One sweltering afternoon, as Miller patrolled his usual route, a glint of light caught his eye. It was coming from the woman by the bakery. He instinctively slowed his pace, his cop senses on high alert. Was it something valuable? Something stolen? He approached cautiously, his hand hovering near his belt. The woman didn't look up, her gaze fixed on the cracked pavement. She seemed completely unaware of his presence, lost in a world of her own. Miller felt a familiar mix of pity and suspicion. He'd learned the hard way that things on the street were rarely what they seemed. As he got closer, the source of the glint became clear. It wasn't a stolen watch or a discarded piece of foil. It was a necklace, simple and delicate, hanging around the woman's neck. It was a silver chain holding a small heart-shaped locket. The design was common, yet something about it felt deeply familiar. Miller's professional demeanor began to crack, replaced by a wave of confusion. Why did this simple piece of jewelry feel so significant? He stopped a few feet away, his mind racing, trying to place where he had seen it before. The city noise faded into a dull hum as he stared, transfixed. The locket was tarnished with age and grime, but the shape was unmistakable. It was identical to the one his high school sweetheart Sarah used to wear. The very one he had given her for their 1-year anniversary all those years ago. He remembered saving up for weeks, picking it out at the little downtown jewelry shop, the nervous excitement he felt as he clasped it around her neck. It was a symbol of their young love, a promise of a future they believed was written in the stars. The memory hit him with the force of a physical blow, leaving him breathless on that busy sidewalk. He knelt down, his voice barely a whisper. "Ma'am, where did you get that necklace?" The woman flinched, pulling her worn coat tighter around herself as if expecting a reprimand. Her eyes, when they finally met his, were filled with a deep, weary sadness. They were a faded blue, clouded by years of hardship, but behind the weariness, Miller saw a flicker of something he recognized. A ghost of a memory. He held his breath, waiting for her answer, a strange mix of hope and dread, churning in his stomach. The world seemed to stop, a silent tableau on a busy street. She didn't speak. Instead, her trembling fingers fumbled with the locket's clasp. With a faint click, it sprang open. Inside, tucked behind the tiny plastic covers, were 2 faded photographs. On one side was a beaming young man in a slightly too large graduation cap, a younger, more carefree version of himself. On the other side was a girl with sparkling eyes and a smile that could light up a room. It was Sarah, the Sarah he remembered, the Sarah he had loved with all his heart. The woman holding the locket was Sarah. The years had been cruel, carving lines of sorrow onto her face, but it was her. Tears welled in Miller's eyes as the weight of 2 decades crashed down on him. "Sarah?" He choked out, the name feeling foreign on his tongue after so long. "It's me." "It's David." Her eyes widened in disbelief, a flicker of recognition cutting through the haze of despair. "David," she whispered, her voice raspy from disuse. It was a question, a plea, a ghost of a name from a life she thought was long gone. In that single moment, the nameless beggar on the street corner transformed back into the girl who held his heart, and the hardened cop became the boy who had promised her forever. They had been inseparable in high school, their futures intertwined. After graduation, he enlisted, and she went to a state college. They promised to write, to wait, to build a life together when he returned. But life had other plans. His letters went unanswered. Her phone number was disconnected. When he finally came home on leave, her family had moved, leaving no forwarding address. He searched for months, but it was like she had vanished from the face of the earth. He eventually concluded she had moved on, found someone else. The pain of that loss had shaped him, hardening his heart and pushing him toward a life of service, a way to mend a world that felt broken. Now, sitting on the grimy sidewalk, Sarah told him her story. Her family had faced a sudden financial crisis, forcing them to move overnight. She'd been too ashamed to tell him. One hardship led to another: a lost job, a bad relationship, a slide into poverty and isolation. She had lost everything, but she never parted with the locket. It was her last connection to a life where she was loved, a tangible reminder of the girl she used to be. It was the one piece of her past she refused to let go of, a secret treasure worn close to her heart. Miller listened, his own heart breaking with every word. He saw not a failure, but a survivor. He saw the incredible strength it must have taken for her to endure so much for so long all alone. All the years of wondering, of bitterness, of regret, melted away, replaced by an overwhelming wave of compassion and a fierce protective instinct. This wasn't a stranger he needed to help. This was Sarah. He knew in that instant that his life was about to change forever. He couldn't rewrite the past, but he was damn well going to change the future. He gently helped her to her feet. "Come on," he said softly, his voice thick with emotion. "You're not spending another night out here." He led her to his patrol car, the city lights blurring through his tear-filled eyes. He didn't know all the answers. He didn't have a perfect plan. But he knew one thing for certain. He had found her. After all these years he had found her, and he would not lose her again. This was more than just a duty. It was a promise he'd made to a boy in a graduation cap a lifetime ago. In the weeks that followed, Miller became her rock. He found her a safe place to stay, a warm bed, clean clothes. He connected her with social workers and counselors, helping her navigate the complex path to recovery. More importantly, he was just there. He sat with her, listened to her, and slowly, painstakingly, helped her rediscover the woman she was beneath the layers of pain and hardship. He brought her old photos, shared memories, and reminded her of the bright, vibrant person he had never forgotten. Slowly but surely, the light returned to Sarah's eyes. With support and a stable environment, she began to heal. She started volunteering at a local shelter, her own experiences giving her a unique capacity for empathy. The shy, broken woman from the street corner began to bloom, her confidence growing each day. She found purpose in helping others who were walking the same path she had. Miller watched with pride, his heart swelling every time he saw her smile, a real, genuine smile that reached her eyes. The transformation was miraculous. Their own bond deepened, evolving from a shared past into a new, mature love forged in resilience and second chances. The locket, once a symbol of lost love, now represented hope and reunion. It was a reminder that even after the darkest storm, the sun can shine again. It taught Miller that behind every face, every stranger, there is a story worth knowing. He was no longer just a cop patrolling a beat. He was a man who understood the profound power of seeing the person, not the circumstance. Their journey was far from over, but for the first time in a very long time, they were facing the future together. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.